Okay, dear students, this is one more class of mathematical methods. Now, today's class, a topic on the Hermitian matrix. Hermitian matrix is also known as the self-adjoint matrix. Also, we know that how we can solve the adjoint of a matrix in the lower classes. Now we have to study self-adjoint matrix. This is a square matrix with complex entries that is equal to its own conjugate transpose. Means, what is the own conjugate transpose? That is Aij equals to Aji, its transpose, or A equals to Ag square matrix. Then transpose this and conjugate of that, you will get A only. How will that square matrix A is equals to A transpose its conjugate? This is named after Charles Hermite in the year 1855. For example, let us see one example. Here we have an example. The square matrix 3, 4 plus 2i, 6 plus I, 4 minus 2i, 6i, 6 minus I, minus I, 9. Observe this square matrix. Diagonal elements, look here, the principal diagonal elements, all the elements are real, as they need to be their own complex conjugate. Note also that a matrix with all its entries are real is Hermitian. What is the meaning of Hermitian? A matrix with all its entries are real is Hermitian if and only if it is a symmetric matrix. Symmetric matrix. Suppose we have an integral equation with a symmetric kernel. As we know that in the previous classes, how we read the symmetrical kernel, k of x comma y is equals to k of y comma x. Then it is known as the symmetric kernel. Suppose the more general kernel that are defined as the Hermitian kernel, that is k of x comma y is equals to k of y comma x, where k of x comma y is not necessarily real. Look here, k of x comma y is not necessarily real number. Again, the kernel k of x comma y of the Fredholm integral equation, we know that previous two types of the integral equations, Fredholm integral equations, Volterra integral equations, and first kind, second kind, etc. But here we consider the Fredholm integral equation. Psi of x is equals to g of x plus lambda integral over the limit a to b k times of x comma y psi of y dy is called the Hermitian kernel if it is satisfies k of x comma y equals to k times of y comma f, its conjugate, bar nothing but its conjugates, where k times of y comma x, its conjugates denotes the complex conjugate. Then k of x comma y equals to k times of y comma x is conjugates. It is the Hermitian kernel. Hermitian kernel. Thus, an integral operator h equals to integral over the limit a to b k times of x comma y dy is Hermitian. This is the Hermitian. H is equals to integral a to b k times of x comma y dy is Hermitian if it satisfies the following conditions. What are conditions here? h pi equals to psi is always is equal to pi comma h psi. Look here, we are changing the functions. H pi comma psi is there here, pi h psi, or k psi psi equals to psi k psi. Then k psi comma psi its conjugate. Then if we say h is equals to integral to be k of x comma y dy, it is Hermitian if this condition must be satisfied for all the functions of pi and psi. Then next go to orthogonality. What is the meaning of orthogonality means? We know that in the lower classes how we can prove that two vectors are orthogonal. Two vectors are orthogonal means suppose A is a one vector, B is another vector. We can prove that A dot B vector, A vector dot B vector is equal to 0. Then we say that two vectors are orthogonal, orthogonality. Then here we have considered two functions, psi1 of x and psi2 of x continuous in the given interval I are said to be orthogonal if psi1 comma psi2 integral a to b psi1x dot psi2x dx is equal to 0. Then what we have to do to show that two functions are said to be orthogonality, then this condition must be satisfied. Integral a to b psi1 of x dot psi2 of x dx is equal to 0. Note that all iterated kernels, then iterated means we are generating the kernels. All iterated kernels of a symmetric kernel are also symmetric. Look here, iterated kernels of a symmetric kernels are also symmetric. That is, the iterated kernel is like this: k1, this is very important, k1 of x comma y equals to k times of x comma y. k1 of x comma y is equal to k times of x comma y. So k2 of x comma y equals to integral a to b k times of x comma y to k1 y2 comma y dy2. Then how do we generating the kernels? In the previous classes we know that we using the kernels. Now we are using the symmetric kernels. That is equals to integral a to b k1 y y2 dot k1 of y y2 its conjugate dot k times of y2 comma x its conjugate dy2. What we are doing, look here, this one we are writing the using the symmetric kernel k1, we are writing k1 as it is here, then first write y2 and y2. This is the we are writing the symmetric, and this we are writing the symmetric k of x comma y. How we will write it? You know that this one, previous one, where it is k of x comma y is equal to k times of y comma x. That using this one, then we are writing k1 of y comma y2 means this we are using the symmetric, and this is the symmetric of this, and write the conjugate of that. Why? Because you know that here where k psi of psi comma k is its conjugate, it is Hermitian. So write in general k2 x comma y, k3 x comma y and so on. In general, kn of x comma y equals to integral a to b k1 times of x comma yn kn minus 1 yn y dy1. In general we write that is equals to integral a to b k1 x comma y1 k1 y1 comma y2 k2 y2 comma y3 and so on k1 yn comma y dy1 dy2 and so on dy1, where integral has n integrations, because here I wrote first time only one time, but here what is this shows that dy1, dy2, dy1, how many integrations are there? N times integrations. Note that the kernel is symmetric. As kernel is symmetric, and changing the order of integrations, we get here kn of x comma y is there. Kn of x comma y equals to integral a to b k times of y1 x. y1 x. Here k1 of x comma y is there. Using the symmetric definition, this is written of k of y1 comma x and k times of y2 comma y1. How will write it? Here k1 of x comma y1, we are writing k of y1 x. How we are writing? Using the symmetric. Here is also k1 of y1 comma y2, we have writing k of y2 y1. We are interchanging. Look here. Here compare this and this. We are interchanging the variables, that is y1 x, y2 y1, then here y3 y2, and so on, k times of y1, dy1 dy2 dy1. That's all. Now in general, here how many times is there integral? As I told, n times, y1 y2 and so on. How many times is there? y1. Integral a to b k of y1 comma x dy1 in general. Then this must be equals to kn of yx. The kernels are symmetric. If the kernels, look here, all the kernels are symmetric up to n kernels, then kn of yx. Therefore the kernels are symmetric. After this definition, let us go to one theorem. The theorem statement is like this. If k of x comma y is symmetric, what is k of x y? Kx is the kernel. If k of x comma y is symmetric, and here we have two functions, psi m of x, psi n x are fundamental functions of k of x comma y. These two functions are in the form of kernels. For the eigenvalues of lambda m, lambda n, if two functions are there, then two eigenvalues. Those two eigenvalues are not equals. Lambda m is not equals to lambda n. Then we have to prove that integral of a to b psi m of x, psi n of x dx is equal to 0. Then the product of these two over the integral a to b with the variable x is equal to 0. We have to prove that. Proof: let psi m of x and psi n of x be eigenfunctions, and if we have two eigenfunctions, then corresponding eigenfunctions are these two, lambda m and lambda n, of the homogeneous Free-Dahl integral equations. These are the two functions and these are the two eigenvalues of the Free-Dahl integral equation, homogeneous Free-Dahl equation. Psi of x equals to lambda integral a to b k times of x comma y psi of y dy. Call this is equation number 1. Given that k of x comma y is equal to k of yx. Why? Because look here, k of x comma y is a symmetric. Symmetric means we can write k times of xy is always is equal to k times of yx. The symmetricity, call this is equation number 2. Also given that fundamental functions, we have two fundamental functions in the statement itself, psi m of x and psi n of x, satisfy the equation 1. For lambda m and lambda n, we get psi m of x is equals to lambda m integral a to b a times of x comma y psi m of y dy. We are writing this in terms of psi m and psi of equation 1, we are writing in terms of psi m and psi n. Psi m of x is equal to lambda m integral over the limit a to b a times of x comma y psi m of y dy. Second, we are writing the same function in terms of n, psi n of x equals to lambda m integral a to b k of x comma y psi n of y dy. Then here multiplying the equation 3 by psi mx and integrate over the limit a to b. What we are doing, this equation multiply psi mx and integrate over the limit a to b. Sorry, psi n of x, not psi m of x, psi n of x. Integral a to b, we get integral both sides. Integral a to b, psi mx already is there, psi nx is multiplied. Integrate over the limit a to b with respect to variable x. And lambda m as it is, integral a to b as it is, psi n of x we are multiplying. Integral a to b k of x comma y psi m of y dy dx. So that is equals to lambda m integral a to b, two integrals, this and this we are writing. Then k times of x comma y psi n of x, right, because x is the variable, we write inside this second integral psi n of dx psi m of y dy as it is, called equation number 5. From equation 2 and 5, here 5 is there like this. Then 5 is there, what is the 2? 2 is here. K of x comma y is equal to k of y comma x. That means we are using the symmetric kernel. Symmetric kernel. Lambda m as it is, 2 integral over the limit a to b as it is, k of x comma y. We are writing k times of y comma x using the symmetric. Psi n of x dx as it is, psi m of y dy, called equation number 6. From 4, equation 4 is here. From 4, replacing x by y, we get wherever x is there, no, in equation 4, we are replacing x as x equals y. Psi n of y equals to psi n, wherever x is there, in the equation 4, we are replacing y, that's all. Psi n of y equals to lambda n integral a to b k times of, again here using the kernel, k of x comma y, symmetric kernel, k of y comma x, psi n of y is there, psi n of y dy, psi n of x dx, called equation number 7. From the equation 6 and 7, look what we are doing. Equation 6 is right, this one, left hand side is same, integral a to b psi m of x psi n of x dx. What we are doing from the equation 6 and 7 means, equation 6 is here, equation 7 is there. Equation 6 divided by equation 7 we are doing. Then what will get it? This one, integral a to b psi m of x psi n of x dx divided by psi n of y. And the right hand side, what will getting? Psi m double integral a to b k of a times of yx psi n of x dx psi m of y dy divided by this one, lambda n integral a to b a times of y comma x psi n of x dx. Then doing like that, what we are getting here, integral a to b psi m of x psi n of x dx, then lambda m by lambda n. How will get it is, look here, this is lambda m by lambda n. So integral a to b psi m of y psi n of y dy. Then here in terms of x is there, in terms of y is there. Because it is a definite integral, we can change the variable this also in terms of y. So what will get it? Psi m of y psi n of y dy. So or change this also, y in terms of x. So if you changing this variable y to x, this integral and this integral remains same. So take this term, take left hand side and take the common term, integral a to b psi m of x psi n of dx. then you'll get it 1 minus lambda m by lambda m equals to 0, called equation number 8. Observe the equation 8 very carefully. What are the lambda m and lambda n? Lambda m and lambda n are the eigen values of the two functions psi1 and psi2. So that means those numbers are not equal to 0. If this is not equal to 0, because lambda n and lambda m are different eigen values. So this not equal to 0, this implies that this integral must be 0. Then integral a to b psi m of x psi n of dx is equal to 0. Now this is the required theorem. Next one more theorem is there, simple. Eigenvalues of symmetric kernels are real. Eigenvalues of symmetric kernel are real. Let me consider one complex number. Let lambda m equals to alpha plus I beta. Beta is not equal to 0. Be a complex eigenvalue corresponding to an eigenfunction psi m of x is equal to psi1 plus I psi2. Then its conjugate. If suppose z is the x plus iy is a complex number, what is its conjugate? Conjugate is the z bar. Z bar is equal to x minus iy. Here we considering lambda m is equal to alpha plus I beta. Then lambda m its conjugate is alpha minus I beta. This is corresponding to the psi m of bar psi1 minus I psi2. We have two complex numbers. One is the complex number, another conjugate, and two functions and conjugate. From the previous theorem, what is the equation 8 says? Integral a to b, when two functions are there and two eigenvalues are there, then we have proved that then integral a to b psi m of x psi n of x dx is equal to 0. Using this previous theorem, equation 8, we get lambda n minus lambda n. Here lambda m minus lambda m integral a to b psi m of x psi n of dx is equal to 0. You will get from previous one. I will get this one. This one, just what you have to do means, here take the negative common. Then what will get? Minus times of lambda m by lambda n minus 1. So lambda m minus lambda 1, if your right hand side is 0, you should take that is 0. That means lambda n is 0. So lambda m minus lambda m bar, we are writing what is lambda n? Lambda m as it is. Lambda n, we are writing lambda m bar, because by lambda n and lambda m bar is same. Integral a to b psi m of x psi m bar of x. Why you are writing here psi m bar psi m of x is there. Instead of psi n of x, we are writing psi m bar of x. Replacing, we are writing here, replacing lambda n by lambda m bar and psi n of x by psi m bar of x. Here it is not seeing, we are replacing here this lambda n and psi n of x by lambda n by lambda m bar, then psi n of x by psi m bar of x. Conjugate it is. Then this implies that what is alpha m? Alpha m is alpha plus I beta. And what is alpha m its conjugate? Alpha minus I beta. Minus times of alpha minus I beta. Integral a to b psi m. So what is psi m? Psi m is psi1 plus I psi2. Then what is psi m bar its conjugate? Then psi 1 minus I psi 2 dx is equal to 0. Simplify it. Then here alpha minus alpha 0, 2 times of I beta. Here 2 times of I beta integral a to b. Multiply these two. What will get it? Psi 1 into psi 1. Then psi 1 minus I psi 2. I psi 1, I psi 2 psi 1. Then simplify this. You will get it. Integral a to b. Psi 1 into psi 1. Psi 2 psi 2. Other two term 0 because one is negative, another one is positive. How will it is? Plus I times of psi 1 psi 2. One is negative, one is negative. So this implies that 2 times of I beta integral a to b psi 1 square plus psi 2 square dx is equal to 0. Since the integrand is eigenfunction, look here, these are the eigenfunctions psi 1 and psi 2. Eigenfunction which is not trivial. Which is not trivial means it will not vanish. It will not vanish. Therefore, here these two are not vanish because psi 1 and psi 2 are the functions, eigenfunctions. This is not equal to 0, nothing but this beta must be 0. Beta is equal to 0 is must. Therefore, eigenvalues of a symmetric kernels are real. This implies that eigenvalues of a symmetric kernels are real. Then one more theorem, Hilbert-Schmitz theorem. What is the Hilbert-Schmitz theorem means? This is totally depending upon the previous theory. What we have studied two theorems. Every function psi of x of a homogeneous integral equation of the form psi of x is equal to integral over omega k times of xy h of y dy is almost everywhere. What is this? Is almost everywhere the sum of its Fourier series. The sum of its Fourier series with respect to the orthogonal system fn of x of eigenfunction of the symmetric kernel. What you have studied in the previous one. Eigenfunctions of the symmetric kernel k of x comma y. If it is like this, the kernel k of x comma y in integral modulus of k times of x comma y whole square dx is a integrable and bounded. Then we have to prove this. We have to prove this theorem. What we have to prove means psi of x is equals to sum of Fourier series. Psi of x is equal to summation of n is equal to 1 to infinity pi n fn of x, called equation number 1. Here the coefficients of pi n are the Fourier coefficients of the function psi of x with respect to the function fn of x. That is pi n of x equals to integral over the limit omega psi of x phi n bar of x dx. Call this equation number. We have pi n of x equals to this pi n of x integral over omega psi of x pi n bar pi n of x its conjugate dx. Let the homogeneous integral equation be we consider in this form. Let the homogeneous integral equation be psi of x is equal to integral a to b a times of x comma y h of y dy. Call this is equation number 3. This is we are considering. From equation 2 and 3, what is the equation 2? Equation 2 is like this. Pi n of x is equal to integral over psi. So integral over omega psi of x fn of x is bar dx. So what we are doing, pi n of x means pi n of x, this psi of x we have to substituting here. Psi of x is integral a to b a times of x comma y h of y dy. Then pi n of x is equals to 2 times integral a to b a times of x comma y h I fn of x its conjugate dx dy. Note that this psi x value we are substituting here. Where? Here. Then we are here omega. Instead of omega, we are writing the integral a to b, because here what is the statement? Everywhere the sum of its Fourier series we are considering in the interval a to b. Pi n of x is equal to double integral a to b k times of x comma hy fn of x is conjugate dx dy. Note that integral a to b k times of x comma y, here fn of x is conjugate dx equals to integral a to b. How we writing this one? K of x comma y is equals to k of x comma its conjugate, like aij equals to aj its conjugate, or a is equals to a transpose its conjugate. So what I am writing here, k of x comma y is conjugate of k times of y comma x. Then fn of x is conjugate dx as it is. Now this is fn of y is conjugate equals to 1 divided by lambda to the power of n. How will get it this one? Call this by equation 7. By equation 7, where k is a kernel. K is a kernel. Where is equation 7? This equation. Equation 7 is psi n of y equals to lambda n integral a to b k times of y comma x psi n of x dx. So k is a kernel. Then pi n of x is equal to integral a to b fn divided fn its conjugate lambda n h of y dy. That is equal to hn by lambda n. Call this is equation number 4. What is this hn? Where hn is equal to integral a to b fn its conjugate h of y dy. From equation 4, see the equation 4 is here. Pi n of x is this n. From the equation 4, pi n is equal to hn by lambda n. This implies that what is pi n? What we are doing here, applying the summation n is equal to 1 to infinity both sides and multiplied fn of x, equation 4. Then we will get equation 6 in this form. Summation of n is equal to 1 to infinity pi n fn of x is equal to summation n is equal to 1 to infinity hn lambda n fn of x. The series in RHS converges if the partial sum means take some n is equal to 1 to 4 or 5, partial sum, not up to infinity, partial sum. Then summation of n is equal to 1 to n hn by lambda n fn of x less than epsilon. What is epsilon? Epsilon is a small positive number, and this n is a large enough. N is a large enough. Epsilon is a small positive, and this is convergent. And convergent sum is pi of x. If we that is equals to pi of x is equal to summation of n is equal to 1 to infinity pi n fn of x. Here it is a summation of n is equal to 1 to n hn lambda n f, very small number. So what will get it? Pi of x is equal to summation of n is equal to 1 to infinity pi n fn of x.